Ross Bolen Podcast.
You better listen.
Welcome back to the Ross Bolen Podcast, otherwise known as RBP, presented by Bolen Media. I am your host, Ross Bolen, back again on another Monday with your co-host, Chris Coulson. Christopher, you joined LA Fitness over the past week.
I did, yes.
You signed up last week early.
Mm-hmm.
You had your consultation.
I did.
This past Friday, and I need to know how that experience went so I can be an energy vampire and live vicariously through your misery, as big gyms are my nightmare and the enemy of RossFit. So tell us a little bit about your LA Fitness experience. And I will note, I was a member there.
You were, which
Maybe
I didn't know
a
about
different one.
until
I was on
after.
South Lamar.
No, this one's like south of your house, a little bit, down Manchac,
Okay,
just
so
a bit.
the first crib I moved into in Austin was, right on the other side of 71 from where we are now, where the office is.
Yep.
And they just built this brand new LA Fitness.
So
on
that's
South
the one,
Lamar.
yeah,
brand new.
That's
And
like
I was
the
like,
fancy one.
I was like, all right, I could do this.
Yeah.
I could be. This was the Bill Chungus he was trying to get out of the Bill Chungus phase.
okay.
You see, I had put on a bunch of weight, and so I thought LA Fitness could be the answer. And
Sure.
I'm curious to how the experience went for you.
So I've never been a member of like a fancy gym like this, where they give you a consultation and like give you a tour when you go in. Like
Fancy is an interesting adjective.
Any nice? Well, okay, you know what I mean. Though.
They're
like
nice.
A nicer,
They're nice.
A nicer gym that offers more services than just going
You
in
show
and
up,
throwing
you
iron
pump,
around.
you
Yeah,
leave.
exactly. Like the only gym I've ever been a member of prior is
Okay.
the Country Club gym, which is like a small little tiny gym above the steam room and tennis court locker rooms.
Sure. Check your
Or-
fitness privilege, by the way.
Okay, thank you. Or Planet Fitness, which you know how Planet Fitness is. I mean, you walk in, like nobody even talks to you.
really
They
don't.
They don't even want to talk to you.
I just
They're afraid of
assumed-
offending you, so
Yeah,
they just don't talk to you at all. They just stare at you as you walk in the door, and then they just kind of like go back to their desk.
Yeah,
But
I
anyway.
assume based on the commercials that Planet Fitness is among the worst locations of any kind that you can attend as a human.
Yeah, it's just not really motivating either to be lifting on equipment that's all purple and yellow. It just doesn't have that like
What
I
were they
want to
f- what-
grind it out.
what were they
feeling.
thinking?
I don't know.
Like
doesn't
Lakers? Were they trying to go Lakers?
LSU.
I don't. The
I don't
colors
know.
are terrible.
doesn't hit. But
No.
anyway, so LA Fitness was offering a deal for the beginning of the year where it's a straight fee every month for one club, and it's like usually most LA Fitnesses range from like I think $40 to plus a month for whatever the membership is. I got it for cheaper than that, and it
Sure you
stays
did.
the same. I'm locked in at a price that stays the same for the whole year.
You can't tell us your price though.
I can if
Oh.
I think so. I think it's $25 a month, which for a gym, I mean that's for what they offer, and I get free guest privileges too. That's what they hooked me in with. Yeah, so I could take you every single time. You don't have to be RossFit. You're choosing to be RossFit at this point. Anyways,
I've always been choosing
so I go in
to be RossFit at this point.
and I have a consultation with a man named Jonathan. So I go in and I meet Jonathan, bigger dude than me, probably 6'3". I would say 190, very in shape guy. And
He's yoked.
he's yoked, absolutely.
Huge.
Not huge, but like body fat percentage less than 3%. You know what I mean? Very chiseled. Like
Jesus,
yeah, he's wearing
3%.
like a cut style hoodie that's very tight, so you can like see the pecs poking out and everything like that.
Yeah.
And he's wearing the athletic shorts that are like short enough to where you can like really get a good look at the legs. No chicken legs on Jonathan, I'll tell you that much.
Got a little dong outline in there.
Okay, no, not much dong outline. I will say that. I was looking for it, didn't see any dong outline, so we were 2 for 3. But I had a good enough feeling to trust Jonathan with my life at this point. So we sit down.
How old
And he's-
is Jonathan? First of all?
27.
Okay,
I want to
so-
say 26, 27.
A younger professional
Yeah.
gym gentleman.
Said he's from Oregon. He fled Oregon. Don't know why. Oregon
That was
seems pretty dope to
probably
me.
a mistake.
Yeah. And so he was in the military too. I think he said the Navy, and he said he's in some capacity trying to play football. Don't know what that means.
Okay.
Don't know if he's trying to try out for a pro team or anything like that. But I mean, best of luck to Jonathan.
And
Anyways.
Jonathan, frankly, there are many Houston pro sports teams 2.5 hours down the road that we'll discuss later in this episode that could use your help right now.
Yeah,
Frankly.
I mean, based on
You play
based on what I was
quarterback?
seeing.
John Boy, you play quarterback, dude? We could use a quarterback and a point guard. You got either of those skill sets? Continue.
He did give me Sunshine vibes. I know we've been talking a lot about Sunshine. We are a Sunshine podcast, so you never know. But anyway,
Strong side.
So we
That's,
sit
remember
down.
the Titans reference, Sunshine. Go
and
ahead.
he opens it up with, so have you ever considered, personal training? And I was like, I mean, I've done some personal training
Well, like
stuff
he asked you
before.
if you would consider doing it or
Yes.
being like taking personal training classes.
taking personal
Like,
training.
he wanted to personally train you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. He's like trying to gauge, because I mean, the point of the consultation
They want
is
to know how much
sell
fitness you do.
Yes, and to sell you, it's obviously way more expensive to get a personal trainer than it is to just go to the gym.
General membership.
So they would like to upsell you to have a personal trainer. So
Do
they
the
want to
yoga
gauge
classes.
Yeah.
Join our steam room.
Exactly. All
sex
these additives
group that we have every Thursday. Yeah.
See how much money they can make from
Yeah.
you as a person.
Yeah.
So anyway, he's asking me and trying to gauge, my interest in personal training. And me, the way that I use the gym, I like to go in, throw my headphones in, take my time at the gym, like get in my own headspace. It's just as much mental to me as it is physical. So personal training's never really been. Also, I'm not like, it's not like I'm training to be an athlete to play
No,
a
you're training
sport
for
at a
life,
high level
motherfucker.
anymore. Yeah, I'm just training to stay in good shape and to, when I look in the mirror, be happy with what I see and keep the mentals right.
Yeah.
So personal training's never really been that interesting to me. Also, I'm on a budget right now, and like the prices for personal training's ridiculous. At the cheapest, it's like $140 a fucking week or month, maybe.
How many
think it's a month.
sessions do you get?
For one. I think it's $140 a month in addition for one personal training session a week. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Which makes sense if you don't know how to work out.
Yes.
But in your case, absolutely not.
Exactly. So anyway, I kind of tell him this to start out with things, and he's like, all right, no worries. I'll still give you this consultation. We'll do a workout for you, and, we can see what you think. Well, I guess me telling him I wasn't interested in personal training, he took that very personally because he kicked my fucking ass.
Ah.
So he asked me, he's like, what group do you want to work out today? And I was like, well, I only have like 30 minutes. I was there. I only had like an hour total.
He sucked you in. You weren't even supposed to work out.
No, I just thought I was going in for literally just a consultation, but I felt guilty because he was right in front of me.
Because I was like, Coles, we still got leg day, dude. Like,
Yeah.
what about leg day? Like, is this going to destroy Ross Fit? And Coles was like, no, I'm going to go in there. We're going to get this consult in, and then we'll figure out like the schedule for my LA Fitness versus Ross Fit next week. And then the dude shamed you.
Yeah, he
Jonathan
shamed me.
got you.
He got me. So I was like, oh, well, the only thing I haven't done this week is legs, so I guess we can do legs.
What, bro? You don't want to pump? You don't want to get a pump in real
That's
quick?
basically the vibe that I got. I was like, well, I don't really have. And he was like, well, we can, it's already set up, like right around the corner.
What's your deal, pussy? What's your
Yeah.
deal?
He was
You're
like,
all right,
it's
bro,
your
you wanna
first date.
fucking work out, Jonathan? Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. So Jonathan and I go work out. So he starts me off on these Bulgarian split squats in which I have my back leg elevated on a exercise ball and my front leg is isolated, and I'm doing basically like split leg lunges to isolate my quads.
Because they've got to show you something you're not doing at home.
No,
like
exactly.
if they show you something you're doing at home, it's
lose
over.
all value. Yeah.
So they've got to bring out the Bulgarian split squats to get you like, man, Jonathan is my dude that I need.
Yeah, exactly. So we start out doing like 12 reps each leg. And the first one, I was already like, damn, this is pretty intense with 10-pound weights. And then the next one, he takes the 10-pound weights back, comes back with 20s, and then asks me to do 15 reps each leg. We proceed to do that for 2 more rounds. Then we move on to now my least favorite exercise in the history of humanity. Kegels, whatever they're fucking called. The ones where you have your legs spread and you have your, like, the one, women primarily do this exercise.
Yeah, I thought this was for the vagine.
Yes. And you have your legs spread with the paddles on the insides and you have to press your legs together. Well, Jonathan liked to throw a little spicy seasoning on top, a little Salt Bay action.
Bam!
Yep. And you had to, like, basically press your legs together 3 times when you got to the center. So it was press inwards and then 1, 2, 3. The pulse, exactly. 20 reps.
No.
20 reps, Ross.
No.
We started at like 140 pounds. By the time I finished off the set, I was doing like 30 pounds. I'm like, not even kidding. I could only do 30 pounds. So the doesn't hit me that day.
Of course
Don't
not.
really
It's
feel
leg
anything
day.
there.
You probably left and felt fine.
Well, actually, I could barely walk to the car, but I didn't feel the Kegels. The next day,
Okay, keep in mind, people,
I've never done this exercise in my life.
but we have also been working out 3 times a week for several months. It's not as if Chris just went in cold,
Yes.
like off of some fucking anti-fitness, spree that he was on or something. Like, no, we've been putting in the work. So
Like,
it's not
I
like
stay
Jonathan just
loose.
was like, this kid's like some soft, doughy fuck. I'm just going to destroy him. No, but like he clearly went for it to show you what he could bring to the table.
Yeah, what I was missing. Exactly. Well, in every exercise that we usually do, leg exercises that incorporate our entire leg muscles, like as a whole, the exercises that he was doing were so isolating to certain muscles that I was not used to isolating that, like, okay, so I woke up Saturday night in the middle of the night and my like upper pelvis
Yeah.
hips area was
Yeah.
so tight. I had to get the Theragun off the shelf at 4 a.m.
To
to
heal you.
Theragun my pelvis just so I could
Just-
go back to sleep. Because it was. I'm not even kidding. I couldn't even lay straight. I had to like keep like a bend to my body because if I straightened out my pelvis, it was
hurt
way too
much.
tight and in way too much pain.
I hate okay, see, here's the thing about fitness and and working out. Your body has all manner of muscles in there that you don't even know about, fam. Like most of us are just hitting the gym like try to grow these calves and biceps and see if I can get some donk for the ladies at the beach, some ass, you know? Then you find somebody who like knows how to manipulate your shit and they're like, "All right, I'm going to do these Bulgarian split squats and hit this piece of this dude's grundle that he didn't even know existed." And the next day you can't move and it's just like, "All right, that guy has the next level."
Yeah. Well, needless to say, the leg day that Ross skipped last week, he'll be doing today as I observe and make him do Bulgarian split squats.
I will not be doing Bulgarian split squats.
He will most definitely be doing Bulgarian split squats.
There's an age limit on that. It's 30 years old, man. I've been out of that group for 3 years.
Hey, mental age, though, you're like, 27 and a half up to 29?
Some have said I have the mental capacity of a small child,
Oh,
Chris.
wow. Well, that's definitely below the age cutoff.
So you suffered greatly under the hand of Jonathan.
I
You were
did.
sore the rest of the weekend. You can still barely move.
Yep. Yeah.
That's LA Fitness, baby. I still get 500 emails from them a week.
Oh, I'm
We
excited
want
for
you
that.
back. And I'm like, I was there for 3 days.
actually-
I was a member for a month. I went maybe twice, and it was mostly me going in and being intimidated by the sheer number of treadmills that exist within
Lots
that
of
building.
treadmills.
Then also the locker. Did you use a locker?
Didn't use a locker, no.
Okay, the LA Fitness locker. It's been a minute since I got in a gym locker, dude.
Okay.
Since high school.
You mean locker room or like the physical locker?
The physical locker you put your shit in. So
Okay.
there's like these lockers up front for your phone and your wallet and
Yep.
shit. There's some in the back. But when you use them, it like has some little instructions. It's like put in a code.
Okay.
That will be your code.
Okay.
Use the lock.
Yep.
La-di-la-di. I didn't read it, so I locked all my shit in there without a code.
Nice.
And then I had to go get the dude at the front desk, and then that's when I decided, like, I can never come back here.
That was day one, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I quit LA Fitness, and then I never went back. I'm also
Did you
just
even
like,
get a workout in, or did you just lock your shit away, realize that you accidentally locked your
Yeah,
shit
so
away, and then walked out the door out of embarrassment?
I gave it about, a good 8 minutes on the treadmill
Okay.
before I went over to the weight area and did like, the mental battle you do with a dude who's like working the bench that you're trying to get at where he's like done, but he knows you want it, so he won't leave, that sort of thing. He's like, I'll just do one more set. Fuck this guy. I hate the gym. I hate the gym. I hate the public gym and the other humans and them destroying what is like you said, it is just as much mental as it is physical for me. And the other humans and their shit, it throws me off.
Wait, what?
I like solitary in the garage, CrossFit.
What year was this?
2016 probably.
I think
17?
gym culture has changed, man. Every time I go
Well, I
to the
know
gym,
it's changed
everybody there,
now.
everybody there is so. Well, I mean, wait, what do you mean by that?
Because of, the pandemic.
Oh, well, duh, physically. I meant mentally, like gym attitude has changed. Every time I go to the gym, everybody there is like wanting to help or
Yeah,
just doing their own shit.
exactly. It's like, leave me alone. It's like going to fucking Foot Locker, and there are 7 different dudes. It's the Apple Store. It's Best Buy. There's 427 employees, and every single one of them wants to talk to me, and I'm just trying to do my shit. You know?
Fair enough.
No disrespect to any of you who love big gyms. It's just not my thing. Y'all know I'm a RossFit guy, #RossFit, but I am stoked for you, Coles,
Thank you.
to be a member of the big gym community and to have a new friend and really a mentor.
Yeah,
in
and
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, as soon as I did walk in the door, they did have like a massive portrait of you, and they were like, "Do you know Ross Bolen? We really want him back." And
Supreme
then
leader.
I said, "No, I don't actually. Sorry, because I try not to associate myself outside of work and everything." But
That whole gym just exists at this point to try to lure me back. They just want me back.
That's why they
Really,
got
it's all
me.
about me. Yeah.
They targeted me specifically to get back to you.
Yep.
Damn, it all makes so
Smart
much sense
angle.
now.
Smart angle. Today is also a very important day in our country's history, Christopher.
It is.
Today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and we remember one of the most influential activists in our country's history. Obviously, this MLK Day hits a little bit different. I feel like they always do. Every year I'm like, this MLK Day hits a little bit different. Because since the last one, some horrific racist shit has happened where I'm like, yeah, it'd be nice if we had this guy around. Today is obviously, it's a tough one, man. It's tough to look at, our country, where we're at, how divided we are, and to wonder what it would be like if we had somebody that was trying to mend the way that MLK did and was trying to mend our country. So keep him in mind today.
It's the only thing for me is, it can be a bit disheartening sometimes just seeing the parallels between, exactly what he was doing in the 60s versus what's going on now,
I thought about this the other
going
day,
on
though,
80
too.
years later.
I was talking about World War II.
6 years later.
And when that occurred, look, man, history is so weird because you learn about World War II and you're, bless you, it's coming. Oh, it's coming.
Fuck
you can't
off.
fight it off.
I
I
you.
ruined it. Yes. Dude, that's the second sneeze I've destroyed in like the last 3 days, and there's nothing that brings me more. I might be an energy vampire. What was I talking about?
You're talking about World War II in the 40s.
Oh yeah. World War II officially started on what?
Something
September
1939.
Let's say September 1st, 1939, and then it ended September 2nd, 1945. So what? Less
6
than
years.
80 years ago?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That is not that long.
No.
Like, my grandma is 92. You know what I mean?
Like our grandparents lived through that, yeah.
If you really put it in perspective, yes, in terms of our own individual lives, that can feel like a long time ago, but that is not very long. That's less than one human generation, right?
Yeah.
So it's really not that long ago that we were in World War II, that we were in Vietnam, that we were in, the civil rights era, and it's just really eye-opening. You're right. It can be discouraging to look at it and say, oh, my God, we're still doing the same crap. It's what we talked about last year with, like, listening to Tupac's Changes. The lyrics still hit the exact same way. But in the grand scheme of our system, of our country, and the way the wheels turn, look, it takes a long time to change things. It's a slow process. And, I think while it can be disheartening to look at some of the stuff MLK did and to see how little has changed since, it also wasn't that long ago. So things to keep in mind, and to just appreciate him and carry on his legacy is the idea, right? That we all keep in mind what he had as his goal and try to make that at least one of our goals as well. So remember MLK today. RBP 366 is brought to you by Felix Gray. There are a lot of blue light glasses on the market. To lump all blue light glasses together is like lumping Honda Civics and Corvettes together as cars. Screens produce most blue light at a certain point in the spectrum of like 455 nanometers. Most clear blue light glasses filter 2 to 3% of the blue light from screens. Felix Gray filters 15 times more, and they're incredibly good looking. I've got the Faraday frames. I've got the Nash frames. Their high-quality frame materials make Felix Gray durable, super lightweight. They can be adjusted to fit. Felix Gray glasses filter 15 times more blue light from screens than other blue light glasses. Their original optical lenses relieve most eye strain symptoms from daily screen time. I use them every night when we're gaming. I use them when I'm watching movies. By the end of the day, my eyes are wiped. I've got contacts. Coles and I live in allergy hell. You see him sneezing and suffering and near death if you're watching on YouTube. We're all stuck staring at screens all day. It's every day. Every day. For work, for keeping up with family. It's legit 10 hours a day for Chris and I. We definitely experience the symptoms of eye strain by the end of the day as a result of our screen use. And like I said, my blind ass has been wearing contacts since I was 12 years old, thereabouts. So when my eyes are worn out at the end of the day, I turn to Felix Gray. They're more advanced sleep glasses you can get. They relieve serious daily eye strain and were specifically designed for late night screen time to improve sleep. They've got highly curated, timeless styles made from Italian acetate for stylish, durable, lightweight, super comfortable glasses. Industry-leading blue light lenses come at standard at $95, or you can add your prescription at checkout starting at $145. Join the 250,000 people that report noticeable relief from screen time with their glasses. If you don't love your glasses in the first 30 days, Felix Gray's in-house customer care team will take care of exchanges and returns. Go to FelixGrayGlasses.com/RBP to shop better blue light glasses at their best price ever. That's FelixGray Glasses.com/RBP. Free shipping, free returns, free exchanges. FelixGrayGlasses.com/RBP. Time for some announcements and shouts. We got birthdays. Shout out Patrick. Thank you for your service. Good luck on deployment. And happy birthday to your girlfriend Allison turning 24. Happy birthday, Allison. Happy birthday, Luke Maurer. We appreciate you. Happy birthday, Chris Johnson, a.k.a. Maze Billy here. Have a great one. Thanks for supporting the show on Twitch. Shouts to Kelly. Sorry for your loss. You are not alone. The gang is behind you. Anybody going through anything out there, never forget that. Coles, you got a shout-out?
Huge shouts to Phil Pittman. You made my Saturday night, bro. You know what you did. Thanks
Phil.
so much for the support.
Phil, what's good? If you want to watch our show, instead of just listen, you can do so on youtube.com/BolenMedia, where Christopher and I wave to the camera. every Monday and
I
Wednesday.
struggle through the impossible allergies of Austin, Texas.
Also that, it's fun to watch when Chris tries to sneeze and I destroy it. Speaking of which, starting this Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time, we are doing our show live.
We are.
On youtube.com/Bolen Media. It'll still be recorded and distributed as it usually is, but you can also watch us record live if you'd like to on youtube.com/Bolen Media this Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. Many people do not realize this, but we don't really edit this thing much. So fuck it, we'll do it live. We thought it would be a fun element for some of you who want hot live pod action, so if you want hot live pod action, hashtag hot live pod action, then go to youtube.com/Bolen Media. 11 a.m. Wednesday Central Time, we will be live doing episode 367 of the Ross Bolen Podcast.
I'll tell you what you do. Right now, you go to youtube.com/Bolen Media.
Do it.
You subscribe. Right next to the subscribe button, there's going to be a little bell. Click on that bell.
Do it.
Go ahead and turn your notifications on, and you'll get notified as soon as we go live on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. You can also hop in when you're watching, talk to other viewers that are watching us live, interact with chat. It's going to be awesome. Recommend you be there.
I demand you be there. If you want an ad-free edition of this show every Friday, you can get that on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. We do 2 episodes a week publicly. They drop Monday and Wednesday, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, youtube.com/Bolen Media. But we have an ad-free episode every Friday for those who want to support the show in exchange for additional ad-free premium RBP on Patreon. That's patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. And now it's time for our first segment of today's show, Monday Mental Health Message. So let's start today with a Monday mental health message about something we all struggle with on some level: addiction. Whether it is food or tobacco, alcohol, crack cocaine, media, or smelling salts, we are all addicted to something. We all struggle with addiction on some level as human beings. And to overcome addiction is to accomplish one of the most difficult tasks that you can as a human being. It obviously depends on what it is. But as somebody who has struggled with addiction since I was a teenager, and really since I first, it was cigarettes initially, because we were smoking, being little shit turd teenagers. We thought cigarettes were cool as hell. I remember the first cigarette I smoked. I remember the exact place I was standing when I smoked it. In my buddy Alex's front yard, actually, which... Not sure why. I was like, catch me! Front yard? What the fuck?
Yeah, who knows?
But I remember thinking, like, uh-oh. I just remember, I knew, like, the second I was like, fuck. It was so good. It was so good. And I knew I was screwed.
Was that one of those dessert sweets you were telling me about?
No, we got into those later down the line. There was these cigarettes called Sweet Dreams that came in, like, candy flavors. One of them was vanilla. It was delicious. I would probably still smoke one of those if you offered it to me, and then I'd have to punch you in the face for being a dick. But yeah, man, like, that's the first time I became addicted to tobacco.
Yeah.
And it was the first thing and really the longest battle with addiction that I struggled with in my entire life. For those of you who have been paying attention, I left that struggle in 2020. I figured if we were going to go through a year like that, and I was going to go through a year like that personally on the personal side of things, that I might as well get rid of the one thing that was still driving me nuts on a daily basis in terms of just knowing it was terrible for me.
Well, tobacco from the, let's say, 16 to like 22-year-old age is so difficult to get away from because it's everywhere around you.
And you
know what
don't
I mean?
have a concept for, like, I'm going to get cancer and die.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really have that yet. You don't have the fear of death like, well, most of us don't when we're children anyway. I mean, the world is different. And then you grow up and you become a responsible adult with, health insurance that pays for his own doctor visits and dentist and shit. And you're like, yeah, I need to get rid of this immediately. Plus, you just start to think about, like, oh, my God, like, I want to have a family. Like, do I want to have a family and half my jaw? And the answer for me was fuck no. Also, I make my living with my damn mouth.
That's true.
I talk out of this thing into this microphone, and that's how I make money and eat and feed my people. So it's important that my mouth operates like a normal, regular mouth, not one that's been ravaged by cancer. So it wasn't a difficult decision.
Yeah.
It was a very difficult execution. I probably tried quitting 15 times. I mean, no shit. Over the past 8, 9 years, 10 years, I've tried to quit over and over and over. Y'all have heard me do quitting day 1.0, 2.0, 9.0, 14.3. We've done so many quitting days. I stopped doing them because I was like, fuck this. I need to quit on my own. Then we can do another quitting day or whatever. Like, it just got so out of control. Anyway, I understand this struggle to a great extent. I also got into a situation as a young man where I was doing a lot of harder drugs like cocaine. Wasn't something I ever felt I was like very physically addicted to, but I had to quit that. I obviously quit drinking over 3 years ago. Not something I felt I was addicted to physically, but again, addiction is not just physical. That was a social, a lifestyle addiction for me, the drinking side of it. And again, different type of unhealthy relationship than with tobacco. Tobacco, the fear, you're going to get sick and die, or get sick and have to deal with it. Alcohol was different for me. It was destructive on a personal level, not like a health level. I mean, I got fat and was a piece of shit, but like, let's be real, I could have recovered from that. Quitting drinking was the only thing I had to do to lose all the weight.
Yeah.
And then we've added in some other fitness elements since then, but I'm just saying. Look, facing down that you have a problem with something, that you are leaning on or using something as a crutch to the point that is destructive to your life is hard. Especially when it's something that you see as a tool to make life easier. Many of us need that dip, to calm down, stay in the zone at work. A lot of us need a drink, 6 p.m., 5 p.m., we get off work, whatever, to relax for that day. These are things,
loose.
Yeah, these are things that we as humans utilize to take the load off.
Yeah.
So when you become addicted to these substances, to these chemicals, whether it's a social, or whether it's a lifestyle thing or it's a physical thing, beating it is hard. And I didn't have a lot of respect for the physical side of addiction until I had to quit tobacco. That was a nightmare that we'll get more into shortly, and how I was able to accomplish that. But I want to use alcohol as my example today because it was something that led me to be unhappy for a very long time. That I was experiencing a lot of mental health issues as a result of my alcohol use, panic attacks every time I was hungover, gaining weight, just generally. Look, alcohol is a depressant. If you deal with mental health issues, anxiety, depression, yes, alcohol is contributing to those things. You understand. You can't drink alcohol and not have it affect your brain chemistry.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
Beyond that, anytime you're using a vice like that, I would argue it's to probably get you out of your mind and into a headspace that you're able to either cope with or control. One of the two.
Both, yeah.
And so
both.
Regardless of, like, with alcohol, it's inebriating. For me, when I was extremely depressed for the first time in my life, realizing that I was extremely depressed for the first time in my life, it was also in a phase in life where I was probably, looking back on it, way too addicted to Fortnite, as crazy as it sounds, because I was so good at it, and it was something I could control. Like, I could throw the headsets on, get in my game, and, like, that was
That's
it.
your
That was
world.
the world.
That
Like,
becomes your world.
I could dominate that. Like,
Yeah.
while everything else was falling apart around me, I could dominate that. So while it wasn't alcohol in the sense that it was inebriating me to where, like, I couldn't, like, I was out of my own brain physically,
Right.
it physically wasn't altering my state or anything like that, but it was giving me the same effect as if I was addicted to alcohol, in the sense that I'm taking myself out of my body and out of my mind for X amount of time, to where I'm not getting anything done in my day-to-day life. Everything else is continuing to fall apart, and it's like cyclical, because
Yes.
then, like, I'm so far behind in everything else in life, I have to go here to be back where I can control things in some
To
capacity.
feel comfortable.
Yes.
Yeah, you have to go back to feel comfortable. And that's, with video games, I said media,
Yeah.
but it can be television, it can be movies. For most of us, it's the more obvious one. It's social media that we get addicted to without even realizing it most of the time. A lot of these things you just start doing as a habit, and then one day you realize, like, oh, crap, I do this every day, X amount of times. I clearly have some type of addiction.
My
to this thing.
energy levels are, like, determined on what I'm seeing
So that's
on
what
the other side.
That's what I wanted to speak to, is the sort of relationship we have with substances and media and the things we get addicted to, and what it does for us when we. So you just spoke to the perfect example. When you're addicted to Fortnite or video games, if you wake up and you're having a terrible day, shit's just not going well.
Yeah.
And you can turn to that video game to get your brain feeling the way you want it to.
Yep.
Same thing with tobacco, right? It's you wake up, your day starts, but you're addicted to like in the background of your mind already, your brain has started to tabulate. When do I need some tobacco? How much more do I have in me before I need another fix? And it's like that's the track your brain is now running on. And as you go through your day, at some point, you're going to get to the part of the track where your brain says, reload, and you need more tobacco. That's a dependence, right? That's not good. And eventually, your brain's chemistry becomes aligned with that fix. And you can only feel good if you have it when you need it. And it's really, really damaging because that's the thing that becomes, you get hooked on that. It's the mental addiction that is the most crushing and that drives the physical side. Your body physically starts to say, give me that thing. I want that thing. I need that thing. We don't feel okay. We need to be okay. How do we be okay? We get that thing. Whether it's weed, drugs, alcohol, sex. People get addicted to sex. It's like, again, because what does sex do? It gets you out of your head. When you're having sex with one person, you typically...
everything fades away.
Everything else fades away. So it can become addictive in that way that it's numbing.
Yeah.
Numbing yourself out to reality, to the things you have to face on a day-to-day. That's the main thing that feeds addiction.
The hardest thing about it, I would say, too, is that while it is numbing, in your mind, in that moment, it's the exact opposite of numbing. You know what I mean? Like, it's the heightened of all senses. Like, you feel like you're, like, peaking when you're in those moments.
Yeah, but all the other, like, the...
But that's why addiction is so difficult.
That edge, though, fades away. The edge that fucking eats at you that's like, give me the tobacco, give me the fucking alcohol, give me the video game, give me the Fortnite, give me the slot machine, all of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then your body calms.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got my thing now.
And I would argue
everything's going to be okay. I'm safe.
That mental addiction is something that I think about quite often because that's where I question my relationship with weed, and I make sure that I'm constantly questioning my relationship with weed as to I don't want to get on a point of mental dependency with weed, even because weed is a non-addictive chemical. I mean, THC is non-addictive technically. Nicotine, on the other hand, is addictive. Leading tobacco to be physically addictive. But for weed,
I still don't know about the weed not being addictive thing. I'm going to sit that argument out because I think physically, if you use anything, if I drink milk every meal every day, I can get addicted to that.
Fair, but I would still say that's more of a mental dependence. I mean, I guess they're both the same thing.
What's the difference? I don't really separate the two anymore.
If the result is the same at the end of the day, then what's the difference? I guess. But yeah, that's some reason. I try to constantly be questioning my relationship with weed to make sure that I'm not, using it as a crutch as much as I'm using it as a way to continue helping myself battle mental health issues, but also recreationally I still want to use weed to relax,
in particular.
too.
Look, it's a tough one because so many of us are aware of the mental health benefits of using marijuana.
Sure.
That it can become obviously pretty enabling for those who don't really need it to say like they really need it every day. For me, it's a thing I constantly reevaluate too. Obviously at this point with me having learned what I've learned about substances, there isn't really anything that I put into my body that I'm not constantly reevaluating.
Fair enough.
Because it's been a long, strange road with all these different substances. But there is I genuinely believe this. There is nothing you can be addicted to that you cannot break that addiction. It doesn't exist. You may need help. Many of us do. I needed help several different times throughout the course of my life to be able to let go of things that I needed to let go of, whether it was other people or it was programs like AA or NA, or outpatient rehab, these things, or inpatient rehab. There's all kinds of resources for you if you are struggling with addiction, no matter what you are addicted to. Coles and I have both struggled in our own right with different substances and different lifestyle addictions, and different things that you wouldn't maybe put in the normal category of addiction, like Fortnite or video games or whatever. And, just like we say with everything else, you are not alone in this fight. This is one of the more common human battles that in my 33 years that I have witnessed, is the battle of addiction. And like I said, doesn't have to be a substance, doesn't have to be a chemical. It could be completely lifestyle. It could even be a human. You could be addicted to another human's presence
most definitely.
that is incredibly toxic and bad for you. The thing that I spoke to that took me the longest to let go of and get rid of and unburden myself from was tobacco. And with that in mind, RBP 366 is also brought to you by Black Buffalo. If you are over 21 years old and you dip tobacco, pouches, or long cut, listen up. Black Buffalo has everything you love about dipping, including pharmaceutical-grade nicotine, just without the actual tobacco leaf or stem. It's dip literally made from edible green leaves and a simple list of ingredients with the same taste and texture as traditional tobacco products. So there is no compromise on the experience. You can keep your routine, but clean it up. Black Buffalo, baby. Like I said, I dipped tobacco for 16 years before I found Black Buffalo and the alternatives that work for me. And I can't tell you how good it feels to be free of tobacco. My mouth feels infinitely better. I feel less like my life is under the control of big tobacco, and literally everything is better. And like I said, this was the last big bad for me to kick. And with the help of Black Buffalo, I have, and you can too. No more tobacco in 2021. Let's fucking go. Black Buffalo sells exclusively on their website at blackbuffalo.com and is available in both long cut and, for those of you who like pouches like me, pouches. I love the pouches. Not a long cut guy anymore. Pouches. Blackbuffalo.com. Use the promo code RBP at checkout for 25% off your first order. BLACKBUFFALO. Blackbuffalo.com. Warning. This product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Next segment. Did Ross ruin Houston sports? Chris, over the weekend, I was watching James Harden start his career as a Brooklyn Net with a 30-point triple-double and a win.
I saw that again.
And it occurred to me that I might have single-handedly caused the fall of Houston sports.
Let's hear it, Ross.
For those who are unaware, things have not been going well in Houston as it pertains to #sports.
They have not.
You may remember in the year 2017, the Houston Astros won the World Series.
That's true.
Now,
Asterisk.
Asterisk indeed. What can be added to that is that I quit drinking 4 days before they did.
Yeah, that's the asterisk I was talking about.
4 days before they quit drinking, before they won the World Series, I quit alcohol forever. Never went back. Have not gone back. Do not plan on going back. And I thought that was a great piece of the puzzle. I enjoyed the last game sober, got a good sports cry. It was literally like right after my ex had moved out, frankly needed the ring. It was beautiful. We dealt with the hurricane in Houston. This was a big moment for the city and for me in my life, and I felt very, very good about everything that was happening. Shortly thereafter, we, of course, found out things weren't great. There was a trash can banging situation, perhaps some sign stealing. The Houston Astros became the most hated sports team in all of professional sports, and they have remained that for the most part. It turned out everything between me quitting drinking and now has been awful. It's gone to total and utter shite. Like, the Astros won the title, but they've basically been harassed and abused by all of baseball ever since. The Rockets went from Harden and Dwight Howard, like iteration number 1. Dwight Howard failure, getting Chris Paul. We're right there. We're literally about to take out the best, maybe arguably best basketball team in the history of sports, and Chris Paul's hamstring goes out. Paul is out. Bring in Westbrook. Now we're in a bubble. Suddenly Westbrook's gone. Then Harden's gone. Rockets have fallen apart. Bill O'Brien trades away Jadeveon Clowney, gives away DeAndre Hopkins, and now Deshaun Watson, as of this past week, has, in effect, quit. I don't know how to, he's just not talking to Texans ownership, management. He is going to demand a trade and likely exit the city. Every single, generational talent we have, including if you look at the Astros and you wanted to talk even further about the Astros, which I'm not sure why you would, all of our generational talent is now either in arbitration or is literally a free agent and leaving, like George Springer. I've never watched a city go from, everybody has the same fucking dream in the sports world, that your city, your hometown, the place you are from, will become the next New York or LA, where they have 30 championships, Boston, whatever. You know what? It's not even that. I just dreamed that my town would matter.
Yeah.
Sports-wise. Because we haven't in my lifetime much, man. When I was a little kid, the Rockets won back-to-back championships, but everything since then, we didn't have an NFL team. The Astros were the worst team in baseball for a few years. I mean, we didn't have it. And then suddenly, back in 2017, I thought it all started to click. And I was like, man, not only do we have the World Series, we have what, in my opinion, the best player in basketball, the best receiver in football, one of the best quarterbacks in football.
I think the second best quarterback in the NFL right now, barely behind Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he's fucking elite. I don't think people give enough credit for...
Statistically historically good season this year that was completely wasted. Deshaun Watson did. I mean,
And that's
we
the
had
issue.
it. We had it going in all the big three: baseball, basketball, and football. We had momentum, and then suddenly I quit drinking, and everything fell apart.
Not only did you guys have momentum, you had swagger too. The teams they had personalities to them. They were
Badass
fun.
all-stars, like
Yes.
the coolest personality play. Like, I loved Harden as a dude. I've spoken on it more than enough already, so I'm not going to speak on him anymore other than to say that I love Deshaun Watson is like a little role model for me. That man's significantly younger than me. I love him. I love the way he carries himself. He works. I love the way he treats his family. He seems like a genuine role model, like a dude that I would want my kids to watch and appreciate and respect. But I mean, so many Astros. I can't, like 6 dudes on that team. I was like, this is my family. And now we are like arguably the worst major city in the United States for sports.
I was trying to think about this earlier today, and last night too when we were talking about this briefly. I genuinely cannot think of another city that has had a fall from grace on the level of Houston sports in such a quick period
Across
of
the
time.
board.
Across
That's the
the
part
board.
that's crazy.
And it's basically the exact same thing has happened with every single team. Superstars leaving, except the Astros are a little different with the cheating scandal, but I mean the similarities
That's
between
the
the
only one
Rockets
that's a little different, though. Yeah.
and the Texans, it's like the exact same fucking thing.
I mean, and it really comes down to ownership
Yeah.
and management.
Yeah.
And in the case of the Texans and the Rockets, unfortunately, we have 2 owners who are now seen as unqualified.
Yeah.
And
It's an interesting.
on top of that, I'll add right-leaning
Yeah.
Trump donors. And
It's a really interesting thought of like,
I'm just saying, these are black athletes, man.
does the ownership of a city's sports team kind of lend itself to one singular culture at the end of the day? Like, are all of Boston's sports teams culturally
Nah.
very, very similar? Is that just a Houston thing?
No,
You know what I mean?
It completely depends on your ownership. I wouldn't even argue the cultures within these organizations are
Similar.
comparable.
Okay.
It's a totally different type of shitstorm from
Just
the
similar
NFL
owners?
to the NBA. No, just just similarly shitty for similar reasons.
Got
like
you.
Cal McNair inherited the team from his late father, who wasn't great, and
I've
Cal
heard.
is Cal McNair. I mean, he's a billionaire's son. He's an idiot. He doesn't
Yeah.
know what the fuck he's doing. Tillman Fertitta owns like casinos and seafood restaurants. You know what I'm saying? So it's just neither of these gentlemen, unfortunately, have had the wherewithal to properly manage their multi-billion-dollar sports franchises that they now own.
Yeah.
And as a result, they've gone to trash. In the case of the Astros, management, ownership, whatever you want to say, or whatever you want to argue in terms of how aware they were of what was going on, look, they cheated their way to a ring on some level, right?
Yeah.
So, by the way, I still take the ring, will wear the ring, don't care at all how angry the ring makes any of you. It just obviously is unfortunate to have that sort of tainted experience. But in my book, we won the thing. They didn't take the trophy. You can all kiss one. But the city of Houston as a whole, when it comes to sports, went from I've never been more proud. I couldn't have been more stoked. I even had a thought. I was like, man, this is going to be crazy. I'm going to be like Portnoy was with Boston when Boston hit stride and just milk the fuck out of the fact that I love these sports. And then this shit happened.
You called that shit way too early, brother.
And now I might never watch sports again. I'm just like, at this point, like, I don't need sports.
Well, you proclaimed yourself a Nets fan already.
I'm a Nets and Browns fan, but then the Browns got eliminated, so now I just think Nets.
Well, when Deshaun comes to the Panthers, you're going to be a Panthers fan, right?
True.
Yeah.
If he goes to the Panthers, I really am going to be a Panthers fan. And I'm not joking about this. Like, if he leaves, I'm out on the Texans. And that's not like, oh, I'll be back when they get another player. No, like, I'm not a fan of this franchise. I will not support this organization. I will not buy their jerseys. I will not buy their tickets. I will not watch their games. If he's out and JJ's out, I'm out. And I don't mean that like as a bitter sports fan. Just straight up, this last few years has been absolutely not worth it. And I'm out. Sorry. Like, do better at your job. That's the way it works. Like, if the show turns into trash, I don't expect you all to come back. It's my job to make the show good. If the team is trash over and over and over for years, I'm out. I can't stay here and torture myself with this shit anymore. It's just like a bad relationship, like a toxic relationship. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are we doing here? Neither one of us is happy. We're miserable. We're miserable. I can't tell you the amount of beautiful parallels that my life has thrown at me the last, like, several days as well. Like, watching Harden go to Brooklyn, and I was like, first few minutes of the game, I was like, wanted to tear up and die.
Yeah.
He threw like a behind the back pass to Jeff Green for 3, and my balls wanted to fall off of my body. It's like watching your ex make out with somebody at the roller rink or some shit. And then like 10 minutes in, I convinced myself, I was like, I once hid in a locker and watched my ex make out with somebody at a roller rink. And then in like 10 minutes into the game, I was like, I'm happy for him, He seems like he's really happy. Like he's really, maybe this is it for him. Like this is what he needed and he's going to be happy and he's okay. And then like 30 minutes later towards the end of the game, I slipped back into like the denial of like, come back, James. Why? I love you, man. And it's just like the same shit you go through with a breakup. Like the 5 stages of grief.
I have 2 things. One, based on my knowledge of Houston sports, I think that all 3 teams should just be owned by that mattress guy. He seems dope, and I think he'd do a great job.
Couldn't agree more.
2,
Mattress Mac. Shouts to Mattress Mac.
Are we just going to slide in the fact that you hid in a locker room to watch your ex make out at a roller rink one time when you were a teenager? Because I think psychologically this may have had some impacts on you that you haven't yet fully divulged, and like now we're seeing the results of that a couple years later, and that itself may have been the downfall of Houston sports.
It's possible. It's possible
in the long run.
That experience in the locker really shit. That experience never happened, just for the record.
I don't know now.
I will say this. I have never had an ex drop a triple-double on their first date with a new person. RBP 366 is also brought to you by MyBookie. It's that time of year when divisions are decided, champions are crowned, and legends are born. We are in the midst of the NFL playoffs. You've waited and watched all year as your team rose to the top, unless you're me, and they fell to the bottom. But now it's your turn to win big. You've heard the name just about everywhere, MyBookie, the industry's leading online sports book and casino. It's not hard to understand why, with thousands of lines to bet on all your favorite teams, from the NFL to the NBA to college ball. Check, check, check. MMA, soccer, check, check. They've got all the latest odds, period. Take advantage of MyBookie's prop builder and live in-game betting. One of my favorite features. If you miss tip-off, kickoff, puck drop, you can still get your bet in with live in-game betting, where every single run, throw, and touchdown is another chance for you to put cash in your pocket. Visit their mobile-friendly website today. Get your deposit matched halfway, up to $1,000. Just use the promo code RBP when you make your first deposit. The best part is they make it simple with a variety of ways to deposit instantly, including credit card, bank transfer, Bitcoin, and more. Whether you're at home or on the go, on your laptop or your phone, it's not too late to make your New Year's resolution a resolution to get paid. On MyBookie.ag, use the code RBP when you sign up for that halfway bonus up to $1,000. Stipulations apply. Bet, win, and get paid at MyBookie. No matter how much your team sucks, no matter how many star athletes flee your city, leaving you in a misery of sports hell, you can still bet on MyBookie.ag and make sports fun again. Hashtag make sports fun again. MyBookie.ag. Code RBP. Next and final segment. Is Elon Musk murdering pet cats? All right. Look, I have come to understand that I wake up every day, right? I wake up in the morning, I look at the news or my phone. There isn't a single thing that could shock me at this point.
Sure.
There isn't a headline that exists where I go, damn, what? Like after 2020, it's just not a thing. Somehow this morning it occurred.
The Onion couldn't even keep up, and then this broke the internet for
Ross.
Ross.
This is like an Onion article.
It really is.
This reads exactly like an Onion article for... Okay, let's just start with the subject of the story. Jamie Lynn Marie Spears. Is this Britney Spears' sister?
Yes, it is. And she's very famous in my generation for a television show that was massively popular as I was growing up. I'm blanking on the name right now.
Oh, I got
People
you.
are hating
Zoe
me.
101.
Zoe 101. Thank you so much. Zoe 101, I watched religiously, and I think a lot of people in my generation also watch religiously. And the only reason that the show ended is because Jamie got pregnant, sadly. We could have gotten more seasons out of it, and we didn't because she had a baby.
That's a damn shame.
Which
I hope
happens,
that
but,
child as well, though.
I think the child is actually great.
Oh, she is. I'm looking at photos of them
It
now.
seems like they're having she's having a great life, kind of living comfortably, definitely not locked up in her parents' house or anything like that, like her sister. So
yeah, which is like the first thing here. It seems like she's got bigger fish to fry. But Jamie Lynn Spears hit the internet to blame Elon Musk and Tesla for killing her cats. She called the Tesla a secret cat killer and told CEO Elon Musk that he owes her a couple of new cats because the actress, singer, and sister of Britney Spears said in a since-deleted Instagram video, her cats were run over by a Tesla that they never heard coming because Teslas are obviously electric cars and they run quieter than vehicles with gas-powered engines. I have a Tesla.
Yes.
Not sure if any of you know this. I also went to the Masters in 2017, the year the Astros won the World Series. I own a Tesla Model 3. It is very quiet. And, Chris, I'll be honest with you, a couple of times passing people in my neighborhood, like there was a lady pushing her baby in a stroller.
Okay.
And I passed her, and she went, oh, like kind of like, oh, shit. Like didn't hear the
Startled
car
her.
coming, and clearly a woman, as you're walking your baby or your dogs or your cats. Some people walk their cats. I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
You got your ears open for cars at all times because you're on the street. Well, the Tesla doesn't really make any noise. Now, if you're reversing, it gives you a little hum almost.
It's like a.
Now, do you know why it makes that hum?
So you don't run anything over.
It's legally required.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's legally required by the people who make the decisions about the noises our cars have to make for the sake of the visually impaired.
His name is Steve.
It's one guy.
Yeah. And his
Stove.
name is Steve.
And he makes these decisions.
He wears glasses. He's bald. He has like a little bit of scruff and usually wears turtlenecks.
Now, this is the most insane thing about this Jamie Lynn Spears video. Here's a quote. We have now lost, I don't want to tell you how many cats, because they don't hear the Tesla crank, and unfortunate things happen, and it's really devastating and tragic for everyone involved.
Which begs the question, how many cats have they now lost to Teslas? And at what point do you decide, maybe we shouldn't either A, keep letting our cats outside, or B, be getting more cats?
Yeah, what do you mean you don't want to tell us how many? Are we talking like, look, 4 cats would be wild, but like, what it was like 17 cats?
Yeah, if we're if she's talking like even like 8 or 9, like 9 cats?
And like, dude,
That's a lot of cats.
Look, there's cameras all over the vehicle. Just stare at the screen with the cameras all over it and go more slowly. Here's my theory. Look, I've seen the South Park where Paris Hilton gets a little chihuahua and it spends the entire episode trying to kill itself so that it won't be subjected to her horrible parenting, I guess you could say. The Spears cats are killing themselves. This is a suicide by Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
They're running under the wheels. They don't want to be there anymore with Jamie Lynn Spears because this seems like, look, the Spears family is a mess. Just point blank, judging from the outside in. I'm not afraid to do it. I'm a member of the media. I can do this. Also, she called Elon Musk. Let's figure this out. You owe me a couple cats.
I don't know. I have no statement.
That's not how cats work.
No.
My cat doesn't get hit by a car. Certainly not my car.
Yeah.
And then I go, yo, somebody owes me a cat. I got to get another cat.
Yeah.
I had a cat. Now I have no cat. I need a cat. Someone owes me one cat.
That'd be like if Bella got hit by a car or something like that. You
somebody
wouldn't
owes
be
me
like
a small Australian Shepherd.
another Bella. Are you kidding?
Hey, what's up, man? I don't know if you noticed, but you just wrecked my dog with your car. I'm going to need another Aussie. I don't understand that line of thinking.
Doesn't
Spears family.
No, and also cats being strictly egalitarian and potentially Marxist. I mean, they know that they can use Elon as a scapegoat here, and they're doing it for the cause. Martyrs for the cause.
A secret cat killer. What do you mean secret?
Hey, but we'll bring that up with Elon once we get him on the show to talk about the mental health benefits of owning a Tesla. We're excited to talk to you about that, Elon.
We are excited, Elon.
Keep
we know
the
you're
memes
watching.
coming.
On CNN, Spears recommended that Teslas emit noises that bother animals so they move out of the way. She suggested that this update would ensure that animals aren't caught off guard and things don't end in a very tragic way. This is the interesting part. As it turns out, Teslas and other electric cars are required to do this. As of September 2020, the U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration now requires electric cars to emit sounds of at least 43 decibels when they're traveling at speeds less than 18.6 miles per hour. Not sure how they came on 18.6, but that's about the level of noise your dishwasher makes.
I would assume
says CNN.
18.6 miles per hour is probably like an even like 20 kilometers per hour or something like that, and it just translates weird, if I had to guess.
NHTSA said the standard will help to ensure that blind, visually impaired, and other pedestrians are able to detect and recognize nearby hybrid and electric vehicles. Very interesting stuff. Jamie Lynn Spears.
That in and of a concept, like that's very needed. I think at this point we just do it like Rocket League style, where you just have a bunch of different engine sounds that you pick, and you just like can scroll through your list and you just pick one.
Spears later walked back her initial post in another Instagram post, which she also deleted. She said she, quote, did not run over any cats, end quote, and Tesla is, quote, not to be blamed, end quote. Several news outlets reported the actress also made it clear that, quote, user error is admittedly involved, end quote. Tesla did not immediately respond to CNN Business's request for comment, which means they're suing her ass. She immediately got called by a lawyer who was like, hey,
hello, hi, yeah.
so you're being sued by the richest man in the world as of 6 minutes ago. You want to take down those grams about him murdering your cats with his secret cat killer car?
Well, I love how she tried, like, she posts the original one, deletes it, tries to backtrack, like, halfway.
And then
Where
just
she's
says,
like, yeah, it was kind of my fault, too. It
I
wasn't
ran over
really
these cats."
Tesla's my fault. And then has to go back and delete that one also.
yeah, this is
Yeah,
this
I
is a
could
lesson in social media behavior. Look,
imagine being her publicist, bro.
I don't
Like,
remember-
imagine being the publicist for Jamie Lynn Spears this weekend.
I don't
You're just
remember
trying
the-
to have a chill little weekend, and then all of a sudden you have to deal with this.
I don't remember the last time I actually had to delete a post. I remember the phase of my life where I was still extremely self-conscious about what I was putting on the internet. So on occasion, like y'all, like, you know, everybody went through this at some point, I think. Like, you put up a gram and you'd get like 8 likes in 40 minutes and just be like, fuck, and delete it.
Or a tweet that
Or
gets
you
no
tweet
likes.
something and misspell something, or like just go back and look at an abysmal take you made when you were stoned or drunk or whatever, and you delete it, right? Man, that's a terrible feeling. It really is. If it's like social media already makes you feel like trash, and then when you go in and have to physically to remove something because it was so bad or cringy or stupid, it's a terrible feeling. So I have felt this on a small level. Now, to imagine that you're as famous as Jamie Lynn Spears and that you gram that Teslas are secret cat killers and then probably get threatened in a lawsuit and then have to remove that's some sad shit. That's a real day ruiner, especially because you're out at least 2 cats. We don't even know the right number.
A day ruiner?
How many cats has she killed with her car, dude?
I'm imagining they just have a cat graveyard in the backyard that's now just like got
Pet
a bunch
cemetery.
of like freshly
You ever seen
dug
Pet
graves.
Cemetery?
No, but I think I think you talked about it on the show one time.
Fucking weird. It's weird horror movie. But I'm imagining Jamie Lynn Spears in her car cruising around what is a nice, large property with several dozen felines running all over the different areas. And she's just cruising and swerving to try to hit cats. And every time she gets one, it's like, "Meow," and she's like, oh, yes. And it just swerves for another one. "Meow." Oh, and that's how she gets off. It's Jamie Lynn Spears in her Tesla fucking killing cats. And that will do it for today's show. But before you head out to take on the world, it's
How
time for
does
some
your
very
brain
important
work?
announcements. We have 3 legal obligations we've saddled you with as a result of you having listened to this entire podcast. The first of which is you must rate and review. Give us 5 stars and 2 or 3 sentences about why you love the show. You can check that box and move on to number 2, which is to share this show with one person this week. Could be a friend, a family member, a coworker, a neighbor. Just share the show with one person that you think would enjoy RBP and what we do here. Then check that box and move on to number 3, which is to support our sponsors who support us and keep us in business. Go to felixgrayglasses.com/RBP for 15% off. Actually, that's not even correct anymore, I don't think. But it is felixgrayglasses.com/RBP for free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges. Also, Black Buffalo. Get rid of the tobacco. Go to blackbuffalo.com. Use the code RBP at checkout for 25% off your first order. And, of course, MyBookie.ag. Use the code RBP for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Stipulations apply. Go enjoy those sports and the gambling's on them. Those are your 3 legal obligations. Complete all 3. I can call out the dogs. We don't have to see each other in court, and we can all live long and prosper. Follow us on social media if you would like. You're not obligated, this part. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. My name is Ross Bolen, and my name on all 3 of those platforms is at WRBOLEN. My first name is William. At WR Bolen on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, as well as twitch.tv/Boss Rollin'. That's Ross Bolen with the B and the R reversed, where you can catch Chris and I playing video games from time to time on Twitch. Chris, where can everybody follow you on the social mediums?
You can find me on Twitter at Q0ULS. You can find me on Instagram at ChrisSC99. And you can find me on Snapchat at Chris_Coulson. That's COULSON.
Check out Bolen Media's television and film podcast, Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, wherever you listen to the Ross Bolen Podcast. If you love TV and movies, you will love OCC. That's Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, wherever you listen to RBP. And that will do it for RBP 366, produced by Mike Moody Garcia of Permanent Record Studios in Austin, Texas. We will be back on Wednesday for episode 367 right here on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and live on youtube.com/Bolen Media at 11 a.m. Central Time on Wednesday, youtube.com/Bolen Media. If you want to watch live at 11 a.m. Central Time on Wednesday, or, of course, if you want to watch the video of the episode after the fact, it'll also be on YouTube. And then we'll be back Friday on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast for another ad-free premium edition of RBP. Start 2021 with these exclusive ad-free episodes of RBP for members of the RBP gang, pledging their monthly support to keep the podcast showing and growing. It's a minimum of just $5 monthly on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. Come through, support the show. Get more RBP every Friday. No ads, more madness. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. That will do it. You are not alone. Podmen get paid. Respect Mr. Park. Strength and honor. Gang, gang, gang. Christopher.
Peace be with you.
And also with you.